Okay, so we are going to be working on 6A, and 6A is learning to understand the language of polynomials. So first thing we need to be thinking about, a polynomial is an expression consisting of variables and coefficients that involves only the operations of addition, subtraction, multiplication, and non-negative integers. So integer exponents. So for an example, what you have dealt with in year 10, we dealt with a quadratic. So we know for a quadratic, we have x squared, negative 3x, and 6. They're all terms. We also know that we have a is coefficient, and a coefficient is the number in front of the variable. So when we say the leading term, we are in this case referring to the term with the highest power of x. So in this case, the leading term will be x squared. The degree of any polynomial is the highest power of x. So in this case, for quadratic, it's just going to be 2. So an example when we've got 3x to the power 4 plus 2x squared minus x plus 5 is the leading term is the term with the highest power of x, which is 3x to the power of 4. Based on that, what is that highest power of x? 4. So that is the degree of the polynomial. A monic polynomial is just when our leading term has a coefficient of 1. So for instance, if we had it as x to the power 3 plus 2x minus 5, the leading term is x to the power 3, and it's then monic. A constant term is a number without any x. So when we're talking about a degree of a polynomial, we know when we're talking about a constant, it's just going to be 0. When we're talking about linear, it's a degree of 1. A quadratic is a degree of 2. A cubic is degree of 3, and a quartic is a degree of 4. So the first thing I'm going to be learning is evaluating polynomial expressions. So if I say we've got p of x is equal to 2x to the power of 3 minus x squared plus 5x minus 4. So the first thing I would like us to do is find p negative 2. So this means our x value is negative 2. I'm substituting negative 2 into my equation. So wherever I see an x, I'm putting negative 2. I am then going to simplify and solve. So negative 2 to the power of 3 is just negative 2 times negative 2 times negative 2 times 2 is then negative 16. Negative 2 squared is 4, so then take away 4. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10, take away 4. So then I've got negative 16, take away 4, take away 10, take away 4. I accidentally wrote it 2 times. I then do this, so negative 16 take away 4 is negative 20, take away 10, negative 30, take away 4, negative 34. Your turn. We have p of x is equal to x squared, take away 3x plus 7, find p of a half. So this just means wherever I see an x, I am substituting a half into the equation. So I've substituted a half, I'm just going to simplify it. A half squared is a quarter. 3 times a half is 3 over 2. So take away 3 over 2 plus 7. To solve this, we need to get it to be out the same size. So that means I'll have all my denominators 4. So that turns it into 6 over 4 and 28 over 4. I can then simplify this further. 1 take away 6 is negative 5. So negative 5 over 4 plus 28 over 4 is 23 over 4. The next part, finding an unknown coefficient in polynomials using substitution. So let p of x is equal to 2x to the power of 5 plus ax squared plus bx plus 7. If p1 is equal to 0 and p negative 2 is equal to 0, find the values of a and b. So first, step 1 is we're going to look at p1 and p negative 2 in terms of a and b. So if I look at p1, Wherever there is an x, I'm just going to substitute it in as 1. So 2 to the power, so 2 times 1 to the power of 5 plus a times 1 to the power of 2 plus b times 1 plus 7. We can simplify that down. So that will just give us 9 plus a plus. Okay, so now we've got this. We're going to do the same thing with -2. So wherever I see a x value, I'm just putting in -2, and then I'm just going to simplify that down. And if I simplify that down enough, I'll just have it as -57 plus 4a minus 2b. Okay, now I'm just going to put in what, instead of saying p1, I'm just going to put in 0. So 0 equals to 9 plus a plus b, and down here, we know that is equal to 0 as well. So 0 is equal to -57 plus 4a minus 2b. Now, from this point, we are going to do simultaneous equations. So we've got our two equations. I'm just going to place it down there. Now, in this case, we need to make everything the same. So we need one variable to be identical. I can either times my top by 4, or I can times it by 2. I'm just going to times it by 2. If I times by 2, I'll just get 18 plus 2a plus 2b is still equal to 0, because 0 times 2 is 0. So now, how do I cancel? If I add 2b plus -2b, it becomes 0. So that's what I'm going to do, add everything together. 18 plus -57 is -39. 2a plus 4a is 6a, and 2b plus -2b cancels out. Now I've just got a by itself. I can solve now. So straight away, I am just going to get 39 to the other side, and then I will divide by 6 to get a is equal to 6.5. All I'm going to do now is substitute this value into my equation. Is one of them to solve for b. So I'll go into what I've got here, 0 equals 9 plus a plus b, and I'll plug in that a value. So 9 plus 6.5 is 15.5, so b must be -15.5. This next part that we're going to look at is using our operations with polynomials. So this is where it does get a bit more complicated. So especially when we're doing takeaway, we need to be mindful of that. So if I've got p of x takeaway q of x, exactly what we've learnt before, I'm just going to do, but we need to also make sure that we really rewrite this, because this says take away x squared minus 2x plus 3. So this takeaway sign is going to be applied to every single term. So I'm just going to apply it to every single term. So this will be negative x squared, negative is plus 2x, and negative and a positive is negative, so -3. I've just grouped everything in terms of like terms. So I've got x squared, take away x squared, that cancels out. I've got -4x plus 2x is -2x, and 1 take away 3 is take away 2. And I've got my 2x cubed out the front. There was no like term for that. Likewise, when we're multiplying p of x times q of x, just make sure that you're listing everything out here. Now, the easiest way to do this is just rewrite it first as 2x to the power 3 is going to be times with everything in that bracket. X squared is going to times with everything in this bracket. -4x will times with everything in that bracket, and 1 will. So I'm just going to rewrite it down the bottom here. And what you'll notice is I've literally put x squared minus 2x plus 3 next to everything here. So all we're going to do now is just expand that and then simplify. I'm not going to do all of that, but I just wanted to go over that explicitly that this is the easiest way to go about it.